Hey guys, what's up? PipSnipers here, back for another update. Let's take a look at ACH over here today. And what I like about ACH is that it is printing an ascending triangle where we have equal highs and then a diagonal support like this, and you can see that the price is getting squeezed as time progresses. And you have to ask yourself, why every single time does the price get sold off once we get back up to these range highs? Well, that's because there is a concerted effort to keep the price down into the range in order for market makers to accumulate. So basically what they're doing is they're accumulating at the troughs and then selling into the advance. Accumulate at the trough, sell into the advance. Accumulate at the trough, and then sell into the, and the reason they're doing this is so they can accumulate over time, because the last thing a market maker would do is put all of their money and then, like, what you hear is, okay, if market makers are accumulating, then why isn't the price going up? That's because they don't want to spook the market. They wouldn't put all their money in the trade, in the spot trade, in their spot trade at once, because it would cause a huge straight green line to the upside. It would spook the market, and then it would end up getting sold off. So what they do is they accumulate within these ranges over time in order to absorb the supply quietly behind the scenes. And while you're in the range, you're going to have a lot of flushes, right? You're going to have a lot of flushes, and these flushes spook unsuspecting retail. Okay, so what we see over here is not only a bullish ascending triangle, but this could be a B wave, right? So you have your A, your B, your C, your D, and then you have your E wave down like this. And this would be, I'm thinking, a B wave. So this 5-wave move to the upside is your A, this triangle is your B, and then we have a C wave to the upside. Above these highs to take out liquidity above the 2021 highs, right? So there is a possibility that this is a flat pattern, right? A, B, C, then you have an ABC up before you have a 5-wave move to the downside, right? And then this would be your external range liquidity, external range lick, or we could say external range buy side. It's your buy side liquidity. Okay, now the pattern can look like this, or what we can do is put the lines horizontally instead, and then you form a little bit more of a range. Okay, now the worst case scenario I would say on ACH is that we come down to retap these lows. So I'm going to show you guys what price that would be. Right, let me just try to find it here. Right here at 0.01698 and 0.0133. So instead of this being a triangle pattern, it would just be a little bit more of a complex correction where we sweep these lows like this and then see the nice pop up from there. Right, so you have to think, where are people placing their stops on ACH? They'd be placing it at the lows that we've used about 5 times already. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Used it a little bit over here. So don't be surprised if ACH does this and flushes with the rest of the market, because it won't be just ACH coming down. It would also have to be Bitcoin and the rest of the market. So if we flush down here, don't panic, because it's likely we're just flushing all of these over leveraged longs placed under this diagonal trend line. So you can even consider this like your trend line liquidity, right? So that would be the worst case scenario on Alchemy. But even then, it turns out to be bullish, because you just be sweeping the lows of this reaccumulation structure. Okay. Now the bearish scenario, something that would invalidate our bullish bias on ACH, would be to see a daily close below 0.0127. Seeing a daily close below that level would then just mean that this is a correction, and then we have continuation down, right? But I'm very optimistic on this coin, considering how long we've been within this structure, and just looking at the market as a whole. So there's this scenario where we come down to sweep the lows, take out this trend line liquidity, and then rally back to the mean, and then eventually have a breakout above supply, which would be right here, towards our external range, and then we would be targeting this level right here. So we can take a look at the linear scale from the last all-time high down to the low, and take a look at the 1.618 and 1.786. And we can also take a look at the 1.382 extension. Okay, so these are the three levels in which I think ACH is going to hit if we can get back above 0.046. Right now, instead of coming all the way down here, there is a possibility this just forms a inverted head and shoulders right here. This is your left shoulder, this is your head, and then you have your right shoulder coming down to these retracements right here. Okay, come down to these retracements and then pick up steam from there. So if we come down around here, don't panic, because it could either pick up from there and then take out these highs, or if we go below the 70.2 to 78.6% fib at 0.02 to 0.0198, then it's likely we're doing this scenario where we come down to these range lows, where we take out all of these buy stops under this diagonal trend line. Okay, but either way, ACH is bullish. I think that this could be a good runner in 2025. So it looked like that. And then once you take out your external range buy side, then we would see the 5-wave move to the downside. And it would just come down to this range, to these lows, is what I'm thinking for the bear market. So on the macro perspective, this would be your A. Then you have deviation above highs. Then you have deviation below the lows of the range. And then we would pick up, and then we would go in for the next little bit of expansion, or next leg in expansion in the next bull market. So let's just say ACH came up to the 1.786 at 31 cents. If it were to come down to the lows from there, back down to the range lows, that would be about a 97% dip, with the possibility of wicking below maybe 98, 99%, right? And that makes sense, because on average, altcoins drop about 88 to 97% in the bear market. So this is what I see on ACH. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you love the content, then click the link in the description below to join the Discord, where I analyze, where you can have over 350 assets analyzed. You guys can ask me any question you want, and you guys can connect with me one-on-one. Peace out. Take it easy. See you in the next one.